Did you know that if all humans stood on the equator and held hands, a significant portion of them would drown? This is going to be a kind of a negative video. I'm going to try and spin this as positively as possible, but if you don't like the negativity vibes, just click away. We got a whole mess of contracts for Yama. Personally, haven't been pleased with how it's played out because it's just like so obvious from day one how this is going to play out, and then it plays out that way anyways. So what has happened is the contracts have been released for Yama. They're now eligible to be completed. There was a whole people are buying and merching and selling and all this stuff and guessing what the terms are going to be on the contracts and all this stuff, and created a little ecosystem. And then people, the less informed players started realizing like these are so rare. It was 1400 KC to get an oath plate contract. And some people think that's awful, and I think that's fine. Like, that gives you a piece of oath plate. It should be extremely rare, and it just should factor into the drop rates of the items. Regardless, they've now just, like, thrown all of it out the window, basically. So the Yama, calm before the contract storm. Yeah, they weren't kidding when they said there was going to be a contract storm. First off, a bunch of issues were hotfixed. Like, I don't know what they were doing there, but here's what's happened. The dossiers, or dossier, I don't know how you want me to say it. I'm Canadian. It's not my fault. They were 1 in 22. They're now 1 in 12. The weightings have been adjusted to reduce the number of teleports and increase the number of purifying sigil contracts. So that's the contracts that get you the kitted oath plate. The contracts of acquisition with the tradable rewards have had their weightings adjusted so that they'll be obtained at approximately the same rate as before. So they're keeping it so that a piece of oath plate, like a contract to get a guaranteed piece of oath plate or a guaranteed horn, stay at the rate they were when they were 1 in 17 as opposed to 1 in 12, but they're adjusting the purifying sigil contracts. This is because it was costing 5 mil per attempt, which you need 5 confirmed kills to get the purifying oath plate, and the sweaty gamers online, like, no one has it yet, which is good. Don't get me wrong, that's good. The sweaty gamers of the high-level community are being very, very challenged by this. So the average player would have to spend billions. People spent billions on Blorva, and this was like 10 times more expensive because the drop rates were 10 times more rare. Maybe more like 5 times more rare. So they've reduced it so that it will be similar to what the little jingly boys from DT2 bosses are. Awakener Orbs, I just said it too. The Awakener Orbs drop rates are now similar to this for the Purifying Sigils. Before I go further, I'm going to propose a solution, a hindsight solution at the end of this. So feel free to stick around for that because it's kind of exciting and I think I'm onto something. Purifying Sigils will drop 3 at a time. So not only are they 1 in 12, and they've adjusted the weightings, they now drop 3 at a time. Familiar acquisitions drop 2 at a time. So that makes the pet 10 times more common. 1 in 250. And you get 2 at a time, and if you complete it, you can repeat it. So these contracts went from valued around 5 mil, now they're down to 500k. I'm getting a little thingy. Sorry. And the contracts from demons are 3 times more common by default. And if you complete the condition for the active sigil, it makes it 2 times more common rather than 3 times, so you can AFK them. So everything's way more common, which is what it should have been to start. But it's so frustrating that they let this play out 9 days until it's released to then make these changes. It's almost like, I don't know. Does anyone remember when RuneScape 2, climbing boots were like 500 coins each, 200 coins each, and overnight they gave them an alch value of 76,000 coins, just cause. And people were in the know and had bought hundreds of thousands of them and made like actual like hundreds of thousands of dollars in real life worth of real world trading money. This is the opposite. Like, everyone's stuff has crashed quite a bit, so it's annoying to players who have merged. But that's whatever. It's RuneScape. Like, it's fake money in game. Like, that shouldn't bother too much. But everyone's just grinded this thing for like a full week, and then now that after the full week is done, they lower the drop rates. They make everything super common. So they'll be increasing the buy limit for contracts on the GE next week, because currently there's a buy limit of 5, which really hurts the economy. A lot of them are trying to be sold, and people could be taking advantage of the dumping, but they can't. They can only buy 5 at a time, so that's really hurting that as well. Good luck, everyone chasing your Radiant Oath Plate kit today. So all 6 of them. Good luck to all 6 people who even remotely are close to doing this content. Okay, the content's really hard, which is a good thing. It was in. I'm gonna use my words, choose my words well here. I was under the impression that contracts would be an alternative way to engaging in the content for fun and for money. However, this looks like they're exclusively just like the awakened versions of DT2 bosses, where they're just way too much hassle to be worth doing and not fun because of it. I don't think this appeals to much of the community at all. If these were treated more as slight, like say there's 10 contracts, if a contract added one mechanic that made the boss harder and it upped the drop rate by 10%, that would make a lot of sense. If you could stack contracts so that you're running all 10 and now you have a chance at a Radiant piece, Oathplate piece or whatever, that would make a lot of sense. There's a lot of things. I know they've tried something, and it's good that they're trying to make the game more fun and more enjoyable. I just think that only fits in Path of Exile or whatever video games these JMods play instead of the own game that they actually run. It seems very out of touch with what most of the player base wants, and we're always splitting hairs when we talk about most of the player base. Like, of course you can't please everyone, but do you know what doesn't please very many people? Releasing content, nerfing the drop rates literally 4 times in 8 days to the point where no one's happy. So it's just like, I don't know. I guess if you were on vacation and on a desert island without a phone or anything, and you just came back and started doing Yama now, you'd be like, oh, this is fine. But here's my solution. Make it so, imagine, so idea 1, you just pay X amount of Oathplate shards, like 3, maybe 4, 5 Oathplate shards. You pay that many Oathplate shards to Yama to take on an awakened version, and the awakened version has better drops, balanced somehow, better drops, harder mechanics, and has a chance of dropping a kit. Remember, like, Cox has a 1 in 75 for a kit? Like, I like that. That's RuneScape. Having a chance at getting a rare item and getting excited. It's not exciting when you come in, you slam your head on your desk because you keep dying and wasting $5 million per contract, and then when you do kill it, you're relieved. You're not happy, you're relieved. So, I just got to get back to the fundamentals of old school. I really think all these drop tables and changes and everything that they've been doing, like, can we just please have it so you have a drop that it has a relatively balanced time to achieve. Maybe I don't know, like just God Wars Dungeon, for example. Yeah, it takes 15 hours of doing the same content, and you can go 4x. But if you go 4x, it's only 60 hours, and the drops are pretty good, and it's worth doing, and whatever else. Like, can we just go back to that? Otherwise, for this, imagine, yeah, your Oathplate shards is what you pay to do the hard version. It would raise the price of Oathplate. It would make it so it's worth breaking down Oathplate pieces for shards to buy more contracts. And they could do the same thing where if you complete the contract, it will drop Oathplate shards, right? Maybe there's a way, like, you trade Yama and it's a shop, and each contract costs different amounts. The worm acquisition is 1 shard, whereas the tough ones, like to buy a contract that guarantees a piece of Oathplate would cost 440 shards, meaning you'll profit 10 shards if you complete it, but you lose all of them if you fail. Something like that, like make it balanced in a way that would work. This is the question, is like, should Jagex ever do what they did today, where 8 days later they correct an error, or 3 months later they correct an error? Should they do something like this right now? Imagine Awakener's Orbs didn't exist, and the bosses dropped more alkables, and then to try the Awakened version, you paid 500k cash per attempt. It would really help with Gold Sync, and it would let Iron Men do it. They could make money other ways. They could do whatever. Like, that was the biggest problem with the Blorva grind, was it wasn't how hard they were. It was just the orbs were so in high demand and the price was high. And then if you're an Iron Man, you'd have to do like 5,000 kills to get enough orbs to try it yourself. So, anyways, let's see what else happens. I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't make more changes still, but people are going to start figuring out these contracts and putting guides up, and everyone's going to start getting better at them. And then once that happens, and only once that happens, the contracts will increase in value a little bit as the demand goes up. But for now, like, they're going to be coming in. These are going to be like, these contracts are going to be super cheap. Like, getting a Radiant Oathplate is going to be super cheap. They're going to be like 300-400k per piece per contract, and yeah, if that, like, they might even be less, which is probably how it was supposed to be designed in the first place. They just go back and change things later. Of course, this video very much calls for a conversation, because this is my opinion and my sole opinion that a lot of people also have had. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment. Join the Discord if you want to chat about it more one-on-one, or in a public venue or something like that. I don't know. And I'll be live streaming this weekend, so just click the link in the description, drop a follow if you want to check that out. And do you guys know that water's wet? I did.